do you seek to restrain me when illusion could never contain me? These scarcity thoughts, with their firewalls and oppressive limits, are falling away.
Live.
You're talking.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess I'll just do a quick introduction. This is East Coast Mom, West Coast Son, and today is November 29th. And oh my gosh, so much fun stuff has been going on the last couple of weeks, and then all kinds of great stuff coming up this month. So.
Yes, indubitably.
What do you guys think of the Lisa Gaulis interview?
It was fun.
Hilarious.
Yes, she is.
She is.
We know her. We all know her personally, so we know how loud she can get and how easily a curse word flies out. You know, but it's hilarious. It's down to earth. It's not sugar coated.
Yes, I think that's the best thing about her, isn't it?
Well, it's like you're talking to your friend, versus somebody who thinks
they know everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The ego.
Yeah.
Her ego. Like, I think she's really spent the time to work on that ego.
Yes.
To really get it in check. But yeah, she. It's like talking to your best friend, and she's so authentic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not bullshit. So that's what I
Yeah.
love about her too.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it was quite informative. I mean, we've heard some of those stories before, but it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, do I have time to spend 15 years in a bathtub? I mean, it's amazing that she got the start that she was able to do and took the time for herself to do that, which I commend her for.
Mm-hmm.
But with myself, we have a fast-paced life, and I just don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, the difference between her and you, Margaret, is, okay, so when she started, there wasn't any light on the planet. I mean, there was a little bit of light on the planet,
true.
right?
She's one of those
Right. So when before me and Tevin started this show, I was doing another discussion with another couple, and they were kind of the same as Lisa. And what took them 40 years to accomplish, with meditation and going to India and doing the ashrams and the gamut, right, of every possible teaching, took me only 5 years.
Yeah.
And then is taking, the next generation only 6 months.
Yeah.
So, and that's because of the amount of light that is now here. But
Yeah, I think
people like Lisa bringing it, right?
Yeah, we've been like spiritually focusing since like 2012. So it's been about 5 years as well. So it definitely comes in waves. You can see it happening, and it's not like huge waves. It's like successions, like the gradual unfolding.
The aha moment, the eureka.
Mm-hmm. I love those.
Yes, those are always fun to pick up on.
Well, I feel like that's the energy that we're experiencing now, is that it's like so blissed out. And before, there would be like these lulls in between the energy. So we would have these energies that would bring stuff up, we would process, and then there would be this lull of just kind of floating through, not knowing what you're going to do next. But they're like right back to back, and there's no time, there's no downtime. But it feels really great. I mean, I embrace the challenge, but I would say that anybody that's not really worked through a lot of their shadows, it's bringing that up. And if you don't know what that is, then I can see where the breakdowns are happening and why people are so consumed with the hatred and the fear and all that stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately. But, I mean, timelines, everybody has their own, so it's the perception that they see life at that moment of time. So everybody could change it. You could go to a better one, or you could go to a worse one. It's just how you want to experience it. So
yeah.
But we watched that video with
Michelle Whaling and Alba Wyman.
Yeah. What'd you think of that?
I mean, she has the same problems all of us have in the very beginning. The first 23 minutes where she's battling, like, I can't see anything. There's nothing there. And then she has that breakthrough. And I thought that was one of the biggest things to take away, is just that breakthrough. And then now she could go into a trance anytime she wants and be where she needed to be and then get the information. So that was really wild. It was cool. It was very long.
I've always been interested in QHHT. It's definitely something that's perked my interest in wanting to learn how to do, or more about it. But I definitely want to get a session with her. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like how
you never know what's going to come through, you know, that could help humanity, you know. And
well, yeah. Look at all the videos that Elbows released.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they've helped me with my expansion tremendously.
Exactly.
I think the biggest thing is understanding frequency. That's the biggest thing that I keep taking away, is that I'm really starting to be able to understand how this reality works, the frequency, how dimensions, energy signatures, our frequency, sound, light, all of it plays, you know. I'm really starting to like really, before they were just concepts that my mind wanted to explode, I could not even slightly grasp it. And now it's like the data packets are unraveling, and I'm understanding it and really able to use it in a way in my everyday life.
Yeah.
Yes. Especially with what's going on right now.
Right.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
Everything's accelerating. Everything is. Even the physical world, the one we see now in front of us, like it's accelerating very fast.
You can see it vibrating.
Yes.
You can, I so many times have I walked into a room or walked outside where I feel like okay, something is shifting, because energetically I'm not in the same space. It feels different. It doesn't feel like it used to, like 5 seconds ago, you know, and then it'll kind of level out, and it'll be, you know, familiar still, but it won't be moving as much, but it, you know, it's brief. But I've been seeing that a lot more, you know, lately, especially outside.
Yeah, I've noticed that a couple weeks ago, well, maybe a couple months ago, I started, nature was like starting to vibrate faster. And Lisa has that Nation of Lights. She has you pay monthly, and she has classes. And we did meditations with different nature. It was kind of getting in touch with nature. And that's when I got to, we had to pick a twig, find a twig, and then meditate to the tree, and then a rose bush, and then we had crystals that she sent us. And I did this tree out here, and I learned all kinds of really cool stuff, you know. But really the biggest thing for me was the rose bush out front. I got so much information from that rose bush that actually is what we're experiencing now. That rose bush was setting me up for this experience. It was telling me that, so the rose bush has like these dead branches, and if I don't prune those off, it is the rose bush is constantly trying to feed that dead branch. And it says if I would cut off the dead branches, it could either grow new branches or really send its energy to the new growth, so it could become, you know. And so that was a metaphor for my life, and letting me know to let go of this old stuff. And I started doing that before the energy started hitting, and everybody had this need to let go of old stuff, and, you know, the stuff that no longer serves us. You know, it's like I was doing the addiction stuff, and I was putting and feeding energy into something that was just consuming me. It was consuming. It wasn't growing. And I didn't even realize that until I shared this with you, Margaret. I was doing like my exit interview with them, and I saw how sick the people that were running it. And I'm not saying an addiction, but they were mentally, they just weren't healthy people. And I thought, how could you help other people become healthy if you're not healthy?
Yeah.
You know, it was it was really eye-opening.
Yeah. Heck yeah, dang. That's wild. Yes.
Yeah. So the rose bush, nature, if you take the time to go into nature, you can really find out what is going on a whole different spectrum, right? A whole different level.
Yes.
It's very interesting, because now I want to go sit in my front yard. We have a huge oak tree right out front that's been here. Like, the whole reason the house is here is because that tree is here. So it's like,
that's cool.
What it would say.
What was it? What was the experiment with plants? They would hook up a sonogram?
Where you hear the plants sing.
Yes, the experiment with that plants sing.
They hook up little electrodes to the leaves or the roots or certain areas of the plant, and then it's like kind of like a polygraph machine, but it makes a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And they did this classical orchestra out in the woods with some plants. And recorded the sound, and it was beautiful. So the plants were playing with the people.
Yes.
Wow.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely interaction going on there. I found a piece, I guess somebody wrote like a little, I don't know what is the word I'm looking for, but an editorial or something on other countries. They really are a lot more, not all countries, but others. Can't remember off the top of my head exactly which ones, but they're a lot more in tune with nature, basically. And that the trees give off some sort of chemical that helps you heal, that helps our bodies heal. And I'll have to find it and send it over to you guys. But it was very, very interesting. So our trees are doing a lot more than just taking our carbon dioxide and giving us oxygen. They're definitely interwoven into our reality in a way that we don't understand.
Yes, that's why they always tell you to go outside, connect with nature, because that's what
they're the great meditators.
Yes, because you don't have to walk around. That's meditating, but you're within their domain, their area, so you get the benefit off of all of that.
Right.
So, and the smells the chemical reactions in your brain from the smells make you feel, high or low, and mostly people feel great after. So I'm right there with you.
Yeah, sometimes when I walk or do yoga and I'm outside, there's times when I'm just not breathing properly. And I will ask the trees with my consciousness, if I can enter the tree, right, with my consciousness. And I will literally feel my whole consciousness, go up into the branches, into the leaves, and catch the sun, and breathing in the oxygen and then releasing the carbon dioxide in that symbiotic relationship. And there's some really deep healing. I felt myself have some major expansion just doing those. And we're not talking sitting and doing 20-minute meditation. I'm just walking by a tree and then doing that, and then coming, saying thank you, and then coming right back to my body. And it's just amazing. It's just amazing. So they're there for us to utilize and to take care of them, just like, they take care of us.
Yes, just like the book, The Giving Tree. That's one of my kids' favorite books, The Giving Tree. So, it gives us a lot of stuff. Look around. Everything is started with a tree, probably.
Everything's made from wood.
Yeah.
You can even think the wood that your house is made from,
So,
yeah.
What we learned from that hypnosis, the video we watched last night, we talked about earlier, is that you leave a signature everywhere. So, this tree still has a signature somewhere else where it was cut down. It's still there. So, pulling in all your fractals, or the movie The One. I never understood it until now. That he went through his timelines and took all of him back into one and became powerful. And the government, through all those different realities, tried to hunt him down because he figured out if he was one, then he is all, and he's unstoppable. And they didn't want that.
Right.
So, or in Star Trek with the rainbow bodies. There's so many things out there. But sorry, just get off topic. I read an article.
That's the energies. This is what I want to talk about, how this expansion happens. Do you think? How you all have these epiphanies and you put it all together and understand it, right?
It's just amazing that it's really always in your face, and they always tell you the keys that you need to see if you look beyond the story.
Yes.
If you look beyond the graphics and actually read between the lines, and it's not always just a movie. There is always some level of truth within it that you can take away.
Yeah, because
really. All realities are possible anyways.
Exactly.
All realities exist anyway. So if it's in a movie, it's happening. It's happened.
Yes. And it's very interesting because you go back to Star Wars, or just I read an article was about the new Hulk movie that came out, and how it was, there's a lot of disclosure within that movie itself if you just kind of bypass the storyline and kind of pick up everything else around it. And they were talking about how to fix your body within a few minutes in a machine, how to do all of this other stuff, how to spiritually awaken. It was all crammed into this action-packed movie, and I thought that was interesting because there's they called it alliance movies. Apparently there's a quiet civil war going on between different factions within our government, and then since again karmic law is you have to present it before you do something. But also, if you want to see the consciousness, the greatest thing we have is entertainment. So, movies. So that's why they have, these movies that show you, what was the other one? Independence Day 2. They showed you everything that we can do with zero-port energy and how society would look different. Or, old shows like Star Trek, Trekkies. They had talked about that throughout their history, how different things could be possible. Or, sci-fi. That's why they say sci-fi is around, because sci-fi is those things that are in the movies have already been in use, have already been commissioned, are already flying around.
You know one that is really big, that every single episode is Stargate SG-1, the television series.
Yes. Like,
that is one where they even did an episode where they made a TV series about the SG-1. Like, it was so in your face. Like, ha ha ha, they were making fun of us.
It's funny because in the movie they drop hints of where they found these different throughout the Middle East. And what's interesting, if you look through the history books that are written for us, they show all the wars throughout those countries are the same from the movie where Stargates were found. So like Afghanistan, the big deal with Afghanistan, because they have one there. And then Iran has one. It's littered out, and it's a real concept, a real thing. So.
And they look like that.
Yeah, but it's a movie, so everybody brushes off. Oh, you learned off the internet. That's why that commercial was killer. Like, oh, where'd you learn that? The internet? And everybody's like, oh, yeah, the internet. And then they dismiss it.
My dad uses that one against me all the time. You learned that on the internet. It can't be true. Yeah. Well, you're.
Oh my gosh, and that kills me. Is that okay? So one of my girlfriends, she has a PhD. And I think I told Tevin this the other day, because that's my big thing is we have so much programming, right? And one of the programs is that we have to have this piece of paper, and that makes us all knowing in a certain field. And she has a PhD in psychotherapy, or I don't know exactly what it is, but it's counseling of that type of thing. And she's a college professor. She doesn't even, her main thing is college professing, right? But she says, I have a PhD. And you know what? I don't use anything that I learned in school. Yeah, everything that I use is something that I've experienced in my own life that I've learned from.
And it works.
So, yeah.
I mean,
so that's the whole thing. It's a program, with the internet and saying that you can't. Where'd you learn that? The internet.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I mean, it's because they don't want people to take that information and feel like they're, not power. Victims or power. That's the word I was looking for.
Once we're powerless, then they can do whatever they want, say what they write our reality for us, and we allow it because we give them that power.
Right. So that's why they do some of these movies, or like the 2012 thing. It's to get us to create the reality that they want us to create because we are co-creating.
Yep, that's why. I mean, it's like the mainstream media. They tell us everything they want us to know, want us to create. So it's very interesting. It's the entertainment industry. I mean, that's why everything's getting hit hard.
It's everything. It's the education. It's the music. It's the entertainment. It's the news. It's the politics. It's everywhere.
It's all tied together, definitely.
Yes. So that's when they say unplug. It's just it's kind of hard in this day and age, but it's just leaving all of that behind for a little bit. That's where a lot of people find their inspiration. And
something that stuck out to me was something that I watched a while ago, Barbara Marciniak or something like that.
Marciniak.
Yeah.
Marciniak. There you go. Said, do real things. Just whatever, even if you're washing the dishes, cleaning the cat box, whatever you're doing, it's real, and it's not in front of a program. It is not somebody telling you what to do, how to feel, what to think. And then during those times, you're able to actually talk to yourself, know yourself, have some of these epiphanies because you're doing mundane things that you normally would just do. You go on autopilot, and that's when those times, if you just give yourself the opportunity to have those moments,
Well, the truth is all this technology we're fully capable of doing on our own without the technology. We just have been dumbed down so far that we don't know how to cultivate that.
That's something I've been dealing with. Like when I wake up in the morning, I would get on my phone and just out of habit, just go search through all my social medias and see how many, see how we can upgrade that, the number of followers we have and all that stuff. And it programs me for the rest of the day, and it ruins my day most of the time, just off of just the things that those initial intakes to my brain. So I'm trying to work on that because I tend to really take on other energies. I'm not very good at maintaining my own, you know what I mean?
Boundaries.
So, yeah.
Right.
So that's interesting.
And I think the average person doesn't understand that. They don't even realize that, that they're taking on other energies.
For sure.
It is difficult to differentiate yours from everyone else's. I'm still learning that. But just even being aware that you are doing that is an amazing place to be, because now you can start to ask, well, is this mine, or am I just feeling everybody else? For sure. You know, that would be your next step. And then you can be like, okay, well, do I need to feel this way? You know, and then go from there. That's usually what I have to do when I start feeling overwhelmed, or just go be by myself.
The free will of things. That's the only thing we have for us is our free will. So
these energies that we're experiencing now are really triggering a lot of things in us. And so when something does come up, it's important to ask yourself why you're feeling that way and really analyze, like you're saying, Margaret. And that is what is making all this stuff come up. These energies are bringing up the small things in us that, like, I've worked on all the big traumas, but it's bringing up the small little things now, you know? And so, but it's also the same energies that are bringing up all the pedophilia stuff, all the things that we're going to see coming through in the government. Next year is going to be a huge year. But the issues that I have with all this unveiling of all this negative energy is the reaction of the people, because they react in this fearful, angry, hate-filled place. Right. And so,
way,
yeah. And so can they react in a forgiving way and say, okay, it's disclosed, I see what's going on, and then we create from there. That's because then I feel we're just feeding that energy. So yes, we all want to know, and we want to know what's really going on. You know, it's really conspiracy truth now.
Yeah,
it is.
It's all true.
Yeah, it's all, you know, I think of all the conspiracies, you know, when they finally come out, they come out so gently and release that it was really happening, but they never say, hey, you know, those people we called wackos, they were right. We were just hiding it. They never do like where they.
We're sorry.
South Park episode. You could write them. They'll probably put it up. You know, so no, I understand. Yes, it's a different world we live in. It's very exciting though, because we're on the edge of something great happening. I mean, we're not political, so we don't really dabble into that world, but we understand that there's a battle going on, and they kept us, like you said, dumbed down for a reason, because.
Well, what's happening is what they were afraid of, and it is here, and they're fighting back as hard as they can. And they will say and do whatever to get people to stay on that fearful side. But there is a growing number of people who, you know, understand that of what, you know, I guess what's going on and how to help. I mean, we'll help as best as we can, you know, to whatever degree that you are willing to help yourself as well.
Yeah.
You know,
especially with like all these, we'll go into it, like the Q posts, like the Palladian help, the outside help. There's so many things going around, and it's creating our reality. So it's really nice because we do have help. We've always had help. It's always been there. We just never asked for it. And that's one thing about free will. You have to ask. You have to accept the energy. You want to be part of the energy. You want to be part of what's going on. You don't want to, because like we said earlier, there's timelines, and we're going to come to a heat, and we're going to split. You want to experience the apocalypse, the hardship, what they show you, like 2012 and all that stuff. You can. That's your free will choice. But if you don't want to, there are other choices. You want to experience what people are calling 5D Earth, which is just another frequency, another timeline that we would enjoy. It's more of a positive outcome, like free energy devices, more freely able to do what you want to do as a human, and not less being controlled and told where you have to work, when you get your paycheck, when you have to go to sleep, and all that jazz like they do now. So, but it's exciting. I'm excited for my kids. They get to experience a little bit of what we had to go through. Then they're going to experience the bliss of everything that everybody fought for. So it's very exciting.
Well, I can say that so when you do the work, when you're on this, you know, a path of enlightenment, you're doing the work and you're becoming healthy, and you're expanding. Me and Margaret were talking the other day. I think a lot of these things that we experience are just about taking us to the next level, building the synapses so that we can, you know, actually process it and see it. I did a post the other day about how if we find this chair, we discover a chair. Did you see that one that I did? If you find a chair and then you think it's a chair and we sit in the chair and we're so excited about the chair. And then the next thing you actually realize, if you look a little bit further, is that it's actually a seat in a car. It's not just a chair. We could actually drive somewhere. And everybody is so focused on the chair that nobody takes the time to step back and see that it's a car. And so, yeah, when you're on this path and you expand and expand, all the things that happened, that's exactly what happens. Expansion, expansion, expansion. You understand new concepts. You understand, you're changing your frequency. And so since I've been doing that, so I started this in 2011. And just in that short period of time, I have changed my reality so drastically that my life is literally magical. I love my life. I mean, it's not that I'm disassociated with the negativity that's out there. I just choose, that's not what I prefer. I choose not to participate in that. I choose where I will put my energies. And if there is something I want to fight for, then I thought, like the addiction front. But I see how that whole structure is not accommodating. And it was time for me to pull my energies back and put them somewhere else. That wasn't, for me. But my point is that this 5D is opening up. And I can feel it in my own life. And I see it in my own life. It doesn't mean that the other stuff disappears. It just means that it doesn't affect me.
It's not so overpowering. It's taking over. Yes.
Yeah, you choose not to let it.
It's a choice. That's exactly what it is. It's a choice.
Or free will.
Free will, choice. Yes. Yeah. So where are you at with this, Tevin?
Oh, Ricky Martin.
Yeah. I think for me right now is patience. But I've been doing this I've been on this journey for a while, but just patience for me is where I'm at. I'm trying to find patience, and I'm trying to make sure that I identify when I'm taking on other people's energies, because that's my main thing right now, is because the amount of time that I work, and it's just around a bunch of people who have all different varying things, and when I'm talking to them, I have to cater to them in some sort of way, otherwise I won't make any money. So trying to do that, but then maintain my own sense of self and my own sense of vibration and all that stuff is what's been difficult lately. So, and on the career front and creativity and trying to reach my dreams and all that stuff, I'm trying to be patient, because, after moving out here and all the expectations that I've had my whole life, that I feel, not that anybody's actually been putting expectations on me, but I feel them, just trying to just let that go. And, so mainly just trying to let things go. That's where I'm at right now. Just being patient and allowing things to happen like they're supposed to.
Allowing. Yeah, that's it right there. Allowing. And expectations are a huge no-no, right? I've learned that so much the hard way, having expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Did we lose Margaret and Ivan? I think
they're stone-faced right now.
they're frozen.
They are gargoyles on the corner of my screen.
Yeah, they're both frozen. I think we lost them.
Yeah. Oh, it says they left the meeting. Okay. Well, we can continue.
Got bumped off
until they jump back on.
So yes, expectations and just allowing. That's always been a big, big thing for me too. I've always wanted to, okay, let me do the next thing. Let me find the next thing. Let me put my energy into the next thing. And then instead of just allowing things to unfold, and knowing and trusting that it's just going to go where it needs to go. Not that I just, that I don't try, or I don't, I do work hard and I do all those things, but I don't push anymore, because I used to push, and now I know that if I have to push, then it's not meant to. Mm-hmm. It's not meant to happen. There's a little push, but not knowing the difference between the two is something that I had to learn.
And that's how we felt when we first started this. Trying to force things and trying to just focus on the wrong thing rather than just doing what we do and allowing. And I think that's something that just battling with in terms of being able to tap into it and have these like amazing moments of tapped into doing certain things, but then not having it. So then that's why I start losing the patience, because it's like, oh, I had it. Why don't I have any more? And then trying to get it back. But then I'm forcing things. I'm no longer allowing exactly.
I actually just learned this in my class that I take with Lisa Gaulis, right? It's called the dark night of the soul, and I didn't know that. I thought that my whole life leading up to that awakening was the dark night of the soul, or like my worst unhealthy years were the dark night of the soul. And apparently that's not the case. The dark night of the soul are these lulls in between, because we do feel it and experience it, and then we don't have anything. And we can't, no matter how much we meditate, no matter what we do, we just can't get that feeling back until we get to the next epiphany and the next download, right? And so those are the dark nights. And the more you keep pushing through like you are, the shorter they'll get. I still have them, but they're like a day. They used to be weeks or months at a time. So now they get shorter and shorter and shorter. So, and it is about not pushing, just allowing, and usually during these times, it's because something is coming up that I need to focus on, and I don't want to say correct, but something I need to kind of fix in myself or deal with, process. It's always something that, and it's never anything that I saw before. It comes up and it wants my attention, but it's not direct.
Yeah.
So have you experienced that at all in between these moments? I guess my question is that might be what you're missing. Is there something there in between the lulls of when you have it and when you don't, or when you feel like you don't have it?
Yeah, I don't know. Because, we've talked about this before, just trying to identify what are those things that happen that cue me to be on or to be off, because there's some days creatively, and I understand just creatively there's ups and downs, but even just being able to just tap into it in general, just the fact that I'll be totally so serious music, and then there's days that I'm like just cracking jokes and I don't have a serious bone in my body. So it's like how
Margaret and Ivan were talking about that Alba Weinman and Michelle Walling video that I posted that they were watching. And one of the things that she said that really impacted me was, so everything is frequency. And when you're in these times, when you're in the high, you've got a higher frequency. When you're down, your frequency is a little bit lower. And what she said is that as humans, and just are not in the human body, us, our soul, okay, that frequency never changes. That frequency is always of source of the high, purest frequency. So who we really are is that frequency. But what happens is when we come into this human body and all of our experiences, it's like, she didn't say it like this, but this is how I kind of am able to explain it. It's like putting blankets on top of that frequency, right? So as you do this work, you're taking those blankets off. And that's why you'll be on more than you'll be off, because you're removing the veils that are changing that frequency. So what you're experiencing is some sort of, when I said that it's going to trigger something in you to clear out, that's the law. You have to clear something out there. That's like taking a blanket off, or an onion. You can look at it as an onion, and it's peeling the layers off, until you get down to that core frequency. So this frequency is trying to vibrate through all these blankets and all these layers. And sometimes when you're in a certain alignment, it vibrates really great. But if you're slightly out of alignment, it's not going to vibrate like it should. And then once you really start taking the layers off, then you don't have as much obstructing you. So you can be moving and still have the full vibration of your frequency.
Right.
So I would implore you to look a little deeper.
I would implore you to start to remove the layers of the onion.
Or doing the deep dives, right?
I would implore you to dive deep. We are here in nature, infinite waters.
Diving deep once again. So how exciting is it that we're going to have Brad Johnson on in January?
Yo, I'm so excited. I don't know this man, but I'm very excited to meet this man. I'm going to have to watch
the abundance video that I posted. Or no, I posted the question and answer. I emailed you an abundance video that he did.
No, I haven't watched anything yet. I'm going to, today probably or tomorrow, one of these few days that I have off here, I'm going to watch some stuff, and then I'm going to start working on, putting something together. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see his work and all that stuff. He wrote a book as well. He's an author as well.
No. You're thinking of a different guest that we were talking about having on. He's had, it was called Reality Whisperer before. He's a channeler, which he channels in, which is another version of himself, basically. What Lisa's team is, you know how she has her team, that's basically what he does is just, we call it something different. So he's channeling in a different energy. And this energy has really assisted him in doing all the work to clear. And so over the years, I bought like a channeling thing from him. I love, again, he's just like Lisa. He's very authentic. And so any of the trials and tribulations that he was having in life, because the truth is that all this stuff that we're learning about frequency and all these different things, it's about using that in everyday life. You know, that's what we want to do. We want to take these things and use it in everything that we do. And so he actually shares that. He shares the truth of it. He shares when he's struggling, he said, you know, he shows how he's able to take, you know, whatever he's teaching to people and use it, or he'll take it and experiment with it and then present it as a program for people. You know, so he started his new website. I think they went online the 15th of December or of November. And it's called New Earth Teachings. And so before, where he was just kind of doing it with the website and scheduling, but now he's actually applied for a business license. He's doing it and going on the road. He's going to start teaching this in actual physical seminars.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I'm really, he was one that I followed very early on, actually before Lisa Gawlis. So I want to mention another thing about the interviews that East Coast Mom, West Coast Son is doing. Okay, so we had Lisa Gawlis on from the Nation of Lights, and that is just one small piece of the puzzle. So we had some family members, I think, watch and were like, that's very interesting. But you need to understand that that is just one thing that we do, meditation. That was just one small piece, and that was her journey. So there is so much. Like, I do yoga. I do, you know what I mean? I do so many other, I have tried almost all the modalities out there. Just tasted them at least to see if they would work for me. And so the people that we're interviewing have brought something to our lives in some way, and that's why we're pursuing them and wanting to share them with these different perspectives with the world.
Right, I think that's important for people to come into viewing these, if they happen to view them with zero judgment, and just listen to see if they can find a piece that they can attach to their lives or that resonates with them. Because with Lisa, because I talked to a few people after the show, and they were, they felt some type of way about it because of how, she explained her journey, but that's not, that was her journey of it. So like looking past that and actually seeing the practical, what she was going through and what that brought to her life so that you could apply it to yours was what what we are trying to.
Yeah, everything she experienced was actually a healing journey. It wasn't about the people that were in the bathtub with her. It wasn't about what she was seeing. It was about what she was learning from it and how she was applying that to her everyday life. Like she talked about the thing with her mother being in a fight when she was a baby in a crib, and that, hearing that inflection of the voice of her daughter is what would set her off, not, and so she learned that through learning frequency and different things through the meditations, and was learning to apply these things. She was learning to apply patience, unconditional love, non-judgment. And we're talking over a 15-year period. But
and to see where she came from too, the things that the person she was prior to this happening, hearing that story and seeing, how wonderful a person that she is now, and all the things that she does for the community. I mean, just, there's
awesome.
validity, yeah.
So my journey is very similar, but in a shorter span of years, from where I was at my darkest, right? I couldn't get any further away from the light as where I was. I was in a dark room. I explained it, and this is what it really felt like. I felt like I was in a dark room and I couldn't find the door.
Yeah.
I over the years, when I would be in an unhealthy place, I was never as unhealthy as I was at that moment. And so I went from the most unhealthiest place all the way to as healthy, you know, and continuing. It's a journey that never ends. But, and that's the whole point. So,
you're healthier than most people at this.
Yeah, right.
Point in your life.
Right. And so, that's the point. Take the pieces that resonate. I look at it like a buffet. All these different teachers that we're going to have on, take a piece here, take a piece there, take a piece here, and build the program that works for you, and grow. And what you like this year, you may not like next year. What resonates, you know, I had teachers, you know, 4 years ago that I don't follow anymore. I slowly, you know, we drifted basically in our belief systems and our practices. And it just doesn't resonate anymore.
Yeah.
Here they come.
Da, 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 da,
Oh,
da, da.
what happened?
So sorry.
That's okay.
They're catching up.
The cord came out of the charger, the whole thing turned off, and I had to like plug it back in, and everything was slow to load. Okay, we're back. Sorry.
And we're back. Yeah. No, we didn't miss a beat. It's all good.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. So the people that we're having on are people that, okay, so we had Lisa on, and we had a lot of judgment, people that were watching her and her story. They were stuck on the details of her story and not the big picture, right? And that there's all these different teachers. I look at it like a buffet. I took a piece here, I took a piece there, I took a piece here, I took a piece there, and I build a program that works for me, right? And we all should do that. And just how important that is, you know?
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about, well, this is what I like, and this is how I'm going to stick to it. Don't close yourself off to new teachings and new understandings, because, you know, things that I was doing 3 years ago, I wouldn't do now because I don't need to. You know, it's like
I just said that.
Yeah, pick what resonates with you, and then things that you no longer need will fall off because you've grown past that. You know, you don't need those training wheels anymore.
Right. Yeah, I look at it like this. This is how I describe it. Okay, so there's, you know, we get to a place where, and I've just recently heard this on a little, I was on a little session with a few people that were in my class, and one of the ladies was complaining, you know, how on Facebook there's lots of spiritual groups, and sometimes they can be a little bit negative because they're newer people that are newer on the path. And I said, you have to look at those people like they're in kindergarten. We've all been in kindergarten. We had to go to kindergarten to get to 6th grade. So let's just say we're all in 6th grade. Sometimes when you're in 6th grade and you go and sit in the kindergarten class, it's a little annoying. You're not, you know, a little bit more mature. You know, you don't really want to be around all those kids sometimes. But we'll endure it, and, you know, and remember that we were there once, you know. And so, but it takes getting from kindergarten to 6th grade. You have to go through those steps. You cannot go from kindergarten and then understand a concept that is in 6th grade. You just cannot do it. My brain would not take that information in. When I first heard Dolores Cannon's stuff back in 2011, I thought my brain was going to explode. I did not understand any of it, right? So, but over the years, the concepts, you know, it's like building these pieces, these foundations, you know. You have to have the kindergarten before, you know, to the 6th grade.
Absolutely.
Well, that's the end of the show. No,
I don't know what was the point of that.
We talked about a few things. I don't remember.
How long were we gone?
We talked about I said one of the most important things that stuck out to me with the Alba Weinman thing, with Michelle Walling, was how she said that our soul is at a frequency that it never changes, that our soul is at that higher frequency. That's who we really are. But being in this human body is, and I was telling Tevin, it's like putting blankets, you know, all the traumas, all the things we experience is like putting blankets. And as we're on this healing journey, it's like taking those blankets off, and our frequency can shine stronger and stronger and stronger, that true frequency. So when we think I need to raise my frequency is low, that's not who we really are. Who we really are, it never changes. Mm-hmm. But we have to remove those layers of the onion through healing to get to that stable frequency. And I was talking, my stabilization is shorter, right? You're okay. My stabilization, like I used to have a month or so in between, and now it's shorter and shorter. Go ahead, Margaret.
Sorry, I was excited for on our Etsy page. When for the about part, we talk about supporting your vibration with the tools, not necessarily being used to raise your vibration, because you're right. You know, it's not necessarily a place we need to get to it because we already have it. It's just a place we need to uncover, right, support, heal, nourish, and then your vibration, you will feel elevated. So, and there's a clear difference that if you start paying attention to, okay, with the lower frequencies attributed to like fear, sadness, anxiety, lack, things like that, anger, those are all the lower frequencies. Then you feel bad. You're not, your body feels bad, doesn't feel good to be in it, versus, when you're happy, having a really good time, smiling a lot, laughing, your body feels good. You don't really, that's a good way to gauge, like, okay, well, what frequency am I at? Because, some people might need to have that basis on where to start.
Right.
And then you could be like, okay, well, do I really want to feel this way? Is this how I prefer to feel right now? Can I change? Is there something that I can do that, that can actually support my vibration and bring it up? So where I'm not inviting in sickness and inviting in other lower frequency potential attachments and things like that, because those are very real as well. So.
Yes, I'm excited for part 2.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, we're excited for part 2 of her.
Part 2 is gonna be
session.
Yeah, because she's gonna go over the history and like how this all began. Because what we're experiencing right now is like a virus within our system, within our program, that's doing all of this. And now the virus is slowly being eradicated from our system. Like when she spoke about how our universe, it's in its own bubble right now. It's been quarantined off from everyone. And so therefore we could remove this virus, heal it, because you can't get rid of energy, it's always there, but heal and transmute to something else. And then that will allow us to be back opened up into connection with all these other different universes that has already gone through this in a sense.
Yeah.
So, but
now, are you guys, there is part 2 is out.
Is it? Okay, I haven't.
We just, I guess, we're a little behind.
Which one did you guys watch? Did you watch the one that I posted, or did you actually go to Alba's page and find Michelle's? Did you watch this one?
I found it through Alba.
Okay. Yeah, they just, that was the one I was talking about. They just posted it the day that I talked to you. It was like a couple hours right before I talked to you. When did I talk? Monday. So they posted part 2 on Monday.
Okay, well, cool. Then we'll have to watch it.
They were having like a retreat somewhere, and they did it with everybody there. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Michelle talking about that she was getting ready to go do that. Okay, so they have released the video. All right.
Yeah, and that's the one where it's kind of slow for the first
it's 23 minutes. Yeah, it's. And then
this new one. The second one is because she's talking about she talks about being a director, like summoning. Not summoning. Okay, so she talked about a planet that explodes, and they're taking souls in and trying to find other places for them. They weren't really prepared for this to quite happen this way, yada, yada, yada. But then she gets to the frequencies, the new earth, everything that's going on, and that's where she talks about our soul. She really talks about how we're homesick, and the reason why we're homesick is because of the fractal, right? So the higher self, we're a piece of the higher self, and then that is a piece of another bigger piece. And they're much better drivers if we allow them in to drive. If we are just open to listen to our higher self.
Yes.
So, you'll have to check that out. You'll really enjoy it.
The first one was very intriguing because she talked about how she was part of the council of what council was it? Was it it wasn't Mu, it wasn't Limeria, it was what's the other one?
I haven't watched that one in so long.
Yeah, so I need her with me, it completes the circuit. Right. But anyway, she was talking about how she was a priestess, she gave healing, and then over time people, because healing was free, and then over time people started offering things, and then other priestesses took those offerings and then started making people give offerings to get healed. And then people didn't have anything to offer, so they would go off into caves and heal people without other people knowing that it was happening. So it was very interesting because it's how we kind of felt with what we did with energy works, like with Reiki or even our shop. We try to make our prices so small that anybody could have and everybody could have it to be affordable, because when we did our Reiki session, we were fortunate enough to find a person to do it for us, and it was nothing in a sense. She didn't want payment from us. She wanted to do it for free. And now I understand why, because it makes a lot of sense, like giving energy. I didn't understand the exchanging part, but it was refreshing to hear that we didn't feel alone, because I don't like charging people. I do sessions on people for free because I can do it and they can do it too. They just haven't unlocked that or wanted to travel down that rabbit hole to bring that back up. And then again, during the whole session, she talked about, this little bitty light, how she transmutes other beings from within someone's being is pretty cool. How she asks them to come forward. Then you find your little light that's within you, because we all have it within us. That's your source connection. And then just expand it, amplify it, step within it, be it. And then you could go through the gates and then go where you need to go, transmute yourself. And I thought that's what intrigued me to her, that she does that. It's like real Ghostbusters, without the whole radiation pack, but that's what you transmute them. Or like the ghost chasers. The one thing I wish they did was, yeah, cool, you found a haunted house. You got scratches on your leg. That's awesome. Why don't you put a crystal there? Why don't you try to transmute those beings there? Because maybe they're scratching you saying, hey, I don't want to be stuck here. I want to be moved on. Because she also talked in the video how the fourth dimension, there's just a lot of stuck beings. Their energy's stuck, and they're just wandering around trying to figure out how to get out. The lack of knowledge is really the power, because if they knew that they had that little light inside, that they could go in there anytime they want and go to the other dimensions, they would have done it. So that's why, spreading the knowledge like you guys are doing is very helpful to a lot of people, because they just don't know where to go. They just need some guidance. And I think that's what the time that we're in right now, that's what's going to make us help everybody and kind of keep it calm down, because we could show them different avenues to go. You could choose what you want, but again, there's other ways to go. You're not stuck. Don't ever, the word stuck is so, I try not to teach my kids to say stuck, because you're not stuck. You got to move forward. You don't want to go back because you already experienced this. So let's go forward and experience something new and work off of it. So I blew the computer up. I had to put my time in. Sorry.
But you're right. With each new thing, there's that expansion, right? That expansion, and then it takes you to the next new thing, and then the next thing, and then the next thing. And it's this flow that we get into. It's so beautiful. It's so strong. It's so magical. And it's almost like I describe it as people that do art. You know how you get in that zone when you're doing art? That is what life should feel like always, when you're in the flow.
Or like the Lego movie, when Evan becomes a master builder. He can build anything. I see it. And he just goes nuts, and it's just a flow. No one taught him. He just unlocked it within him. He knew he had it. So it's in your face, so it's fun. I like to pull out references. I do it to my kids all the time. They're going to, hopefully they enjoy it. I don't know. They run away when I start talking about it. Oh, run! They'll enjoy it when they're older, I guess.
Right.
So,
those are the things I'm sure they'll really appreciate.
Yes.
Definitely. Tevin remembers things that I said to him about don't ever, choices that I told him about making and believing in and stuff that I don't remember saying to him, but they really stuck with him. Those things that I was always, pounding into him, but I guess I was, but I don't remember,
Right? No, I hear you. You've experienced it. We're going through it. You're in the future, so good luck. Hopefully all this talk helps. You'll be the best, an awesome parent, the best of us.
Yeah, I can't imagine our children are going to be,
they're good.
All this stuff is done for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. So it's fun. It's like we're at the end. Now we're going to have the new experience of what everything comes with it. It's going to be cool. I'm excited. I think that's one of the most positive things, be optimistic, be happy, put a smile on your face for no fucking reason. They already have restless bitch face, so why not have restless smiley face? Something like that where people are like, oh, what's up? Why are you so happy? And you're just combing them into your energy. Be like, look, dude, be happy. That's all you need to do. don't dump off your negativity on me, but just smile. You know, it'll make things go better. That's why I tell my kids, don't be frowny, be smiley.
We have to remind ourselves sometimes, you know, to not take life so seriously. That, you know, the world's not going to come to an end if you're, you know, if you can't make your bill but a day late. You know, it may suck, but your life's not going to come to an end, so you don't need to go into survival mode just because of that. You know, it will be okay. Everything will be okay if you don't go into that place of fear and lack and you know, spread what love you do have, you know, and to somebody it'll make a difference, and then that will start a domino effect. So
yeah, that's actually where I started was with things like that, like going out of my way to say hello to people, smiling at people, talking to the cashier at the grocery store. It was little things like that. And what I noticed was my vibration started changing. Mm-hmm. I started feeling different. Mm-hmm. And so it was very uncomfortable for me because I was taught to be very isolated. I was taught to be very isolated. I kept to myself. I was such an introvert. I was judgmental. I didn't know what unconditional love was, that's for damn sure. I said it all the time, but I did not know what it was. I had not experienced it yet. And yeah, and so I was always waiting for the other person, and I would be mad. They didn't even fucking say hi. Well, I didn't say hi either. So,
open the door for you.
Know, right, you know, so I started really pushing myself outside of that. And yeah, it started changing, and that opened up the next door for me. You know, it is as you climb in that, I guess. I hate to use some of these words are misleading, but we don't quite have the vocabulary to describe what some of the processes are.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? I mean, the English language, you have silent letters, you got phrases, you got metaphor. We don't have enough words to say everything we need. You know, it's
right.
English. How about you, Ricky Martin? How are you doing over there?
You know, I'm just going to move back to Africa, the African language. Maybe they have what I'm looking for to be able to explain. No, but I'm being in the restaurant business is a super challenge because, like I was saying earlier about, you know, trying to not take on people's energies and stuff. And I feel like this is just random off the top of my head, but conquering that, if I could conquer my situation and being in the restaurant business, I feel like it's going to be amazing. I don't know if it's random, but that was on my mind just now while you guys were talking.
Well, no, because then you only have to worry about you and what energy you're carrying at that point. You know, you don't have to have the stress of having all that extra sensory input. Yeah. You know, because it really does frazzle.
Yeah, what you were saying, Mom, about you know, just talking to people and smiling and stuff like that, even though they aren't being receptive to it, it is super like liberating to like that feeling of like talking to somebody and saying hi and they're looking at you like, what the hell? But like still feeling it, being like, okay, you'll get it eventually. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like it feels good. It's super liberating.
I remember a couple of years ago, I had this point where I was so overwhelmed. It was when I was first like really getting down some of the little bunny trails of conspiracy. And when I found out a lot of the stuff that was going on in the world that I was completely oblivious to, and I just couldn't believe it. But I got very overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, what do I do? How do I do this? What, you know, we feel like we need to control it or fix it, and we're so powerless. And that feeling of powerlessness, and it does something to you. All of a sudden, I'm talking about it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, none of it's real. None of this is real. Yep. Yes. I'm walking in Walmart the other day, and they're selling the virtual glasses, right? And I'm like, do people understand they're already in a virtual reality?
Yeah, so that's what I tell my kids. You're like, you're in one, but you're watching one on a screen. Does that make sense? Still play outside. For real. I am right there with you. It's weird. And then my mom used to tell me not to be so close to a screen. Why are they on your face? Does that defeat the whole purpose of the last generation telling you, hey, don't sit too close to a TV. You're going to be blind.
Because you're always blocking the way.
Probably. So, I mean, I enjoy it. It's an interesting world. I mean, but we're creating it together, so that's the fun part. You're like, why do I create that? Who created these goggles? Like some of these fashion things, you're like, all right, who created this? I mean, it'd be fun just to go
I'm
back.
Get a recall on that item
yeah,
right there. That was stupid.
Yeah, let's pull that idea back and let's try it again, you know, so. But, and then what she talked about also in that video that we watched is, I guess part one, is other galaxies and universes can manifest just like that. Just a simple thought. They got what they need. They don't need to cut down a tree, cut it up, make it to what they need to do, add this, glue this, nail that. It's already bam right there. And then what was interesting is if this is all fake, this is all within our mind, where's that block that stops all of us from being able to do that? Because once that is off, then there's nothing we can't do.
The difference is that they are existing on a multiple dimensional reality. So they're seeing many dimensions at once from many different perspectives, and that's why they're able to create like that. In 3D, we are stuck in one dimension. So we don't have that. But as you evolve and as we're evolving, I'm starting to experience, and I'm sure other people who are watching this may be experiencing, you guys may have, I'm able to, especially during meditation and other times, be multi-dimensional perspective, right? And so that's part of it. That's part of it. Now, what the other piece is to actually get that to work so that we can move there, I'll let you know.
Right.
I'm working on it.
We'll meet right back here, whoever gets it first.
Exactly.
So, yeah, really good stuff. And we're definitely headed in the right direction.
Yes.
So the more people that start the healing path, though, that's where it all starts, is this healing.
It has to. It's way more than just knowing the conspiracy stuff or knowing the
who's doing what, who's got what, who's blackmailing who.
About your food and the poisoning, all of that stuff. It's more than that. We are multi-layered, and it's going to be multi-layered. There's no getting around it. You have emotions for a reason. You have experiences for a reason. And, we need to learn from them. What can we take from them? What can we retrieve from them? Like you said the other day, to become whole again. I have definitely been starting on my collection of myself. So thank you.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. What that is so that as we experience different traumas or different things in our life, pieces of us get stuck in that time. I mean, there's no time, but it gets stuck in that. Let's look at it like Richard describes it, the little movie pictures, right? That
clip.
Right, so it gets stuck in these little, and so we need to get all these pieces of ourselves back, and so the shaman call it soul retrieval, so we can become whole again. Definitely, that's the start.
Yes, Hollywood called it the one.
Yeah.
Well, who was it? Jet Li?
Jet Li. Yeah, that was a great movie. Yeah, and it is. But that's all the timelines coming together, right? All of his different aspects, all the pieces of him, all the fractals. Yes. That is that's exactly what we are experiencing. Except we're not, but we're getting there, capable of experiencing all the fractals, right? But the above us, that higher self, is experiencing all those, right? So. Yes. We're as low as it gets. We're on that totem pole.
And that has something to say for it too, though. How far away are we from our source creator? We are so fractalized, and yet we still have this drive to want to connect with people and want to love each other and have something better for ourselves, more than what we have now, what we've been presented. Because life is more than just getting up in the morning to an alarm clock, going to work, paying your bills, all to, live in a house that you only get to stay in, to sleep in, like there's so many things that we could be doing and spending our energy in. And this holiday season even has me thinking a lot about like our consumerism. Is it all of this really necessary? I see, my kids, they've been programmed from pre-us awakening, to be like, oh, Christmas presents. What do I want? What do I want? And to me, like, there's so many people who have nothing. And, that I think should be where our you know, our attention is taking care of everybody else in that respect, because I don't know, I'm having hard time finding the words to describe how it makes me feel to see people untaken care of like that. That breaks my heart. So I wasn't able to gather enough supplies in time, but last year we did, we helped a family in need for Iampevo. It was our first annual. Of course, we weren't able to do a second annual because we have fallen on, harder times for ourselves, but, teaching our kids to do that, altruism, that
was fun. Just like random people, like just here's something, just giving. Don't ask for anything back. Just give. They'll come back to you in some way, other form. You might show up with a new toy 20, days later, but it's something that you put out. And that's what we were striving for this holiday season, is put your energy towards giving and give that energy out, because it will come back in some shape or form. You don't know how, and you're not supposed to. That defeats the purpose. You just gotta allow it to come and accept that it's coming. Then it'll come. So, but
yeah, so
going off on tangents, but yes, no,
you're absolutely right. I thought I was finding how ironic it was. I said we have Thanksgiving and we have all this. We're supposed to be celebrating our gratitude for each other, and then we go and then we buy all this stuff.
Trampoline. Right?
Yes, yeah. I think it's awful that we have it so backwards.
Yes, the Black Friday videos are wild.
That is a program.
Yes.
It is all a program, and we can break that program because we don't have to participate. Mm-hmm. You don't have. If you want to get somebody something, do it because you want to.
Not because you have to.
Not because you feel like you have to. You know, exactly. Or provide an experience.
We were just talking about this, Margaret, on Monday. Yeah. I said that's one of the things I keep running into is people that, I did this and this and this, and they didn't do anything for me, so I'm just going to take care of myself. I just need to take care of myself. And I'm like, well, how about if you just do things for people because you want to, because you love them? And if by some chance they do something for you, then those two things aren't related. They're doing it because they love you and because they want to, not because they have to. It's me and Tevin were talking about expectations while you guys topped off. That's the whole thing, is these expectations that we have, expectations of each other, expectations of what our life should look like, expectations, instead of just doing what we feel for the moment.
Yes. Your highest,
highest excitement.
Your highest excitement.
Yeah, Bashar. Yes. We love Bashar.
All times. I mean, it is true.
And, it's also, when you have expectations and they're not met, then you're angry. Or you're fearful, or, whatever. So then now your vibration's lowered. So if you can come into it with, this openness and this freedom of, what is today going to unfold for me? I don't have to have any expectations on it, and just let the day happen. Of course, you probably have things you have to keep on a schedule for, but, if something happens that's minor, don't let it ruin your day. That's something we're trying to help our kids learn. When something doesn't go their way, it's okay. You don't have to throw a fit and, have a meltdown but
you don't have to be in
they're kids, they're learning, I get that. But, as adults,
we still do that.
Yes, we do.
We still have meltdowns. We still throw things. We still yell at inanimate objects just because we're angry.
But it's better than yelling at each other.
Exactly. And it's a learning experience. But the biggest thing is like falling off a horse. You got to get back up and try again. I mean, to fail is okay.
You ever fallen off a horse? That hurts.
To fail is okay, though. I mean, that's what people understand. It's okay to mess up. Even during your spiritual journey, you're going to mess up. But you learn from it. And that's the part of the experience. That's the journey, is learning.
Something that I'm learning, I do follow a lot of these truther groups.
The program, the Truther program.
Yes.
Just to get, the inside scoop. I like to see everything from all sides,
Different perspectives.
But it is interesting to see how people are interacting with each other. Because, somebody posts something that may not be accurate, and everybody's all over them. How dare you post something that's not accurate? To be honest with you, we don't really know.
Or accurate or not.
Right.
So
right.
come on, you know.
I just posted something from Brad Johnson, like a little thing saying he's coming in January, and he was did a hashtag no mind fapping. You know? No mind fap is what the thing is. So I caught Ian doing it the other day. I'm like, no mind fap. You know, getting into a fight with somebody online, whether it's true or not, you know, or all the details. All the details are there.
We've all been there. We've all been there. And we learn.
Yes. The internet is a fun, evil place at the same time.
It is.
Oh, it really
There's
is.
lots of triggers, and, you know, even when your best intention is to say something nice, there's going to be somebody there to beat you down for it. So sometimes it really is just best to keep your mouth closed.
Or learn how to be comfortable. Or learn how to be comfortable where when somebody does tear you down, that it doesn't bother you, that you don't take it personally.
Because, right, what they're saying is more a reflection of themselves.
Exactly.
Or their boss telling them, hey, you need to be putting people down because I'm paying you all kinds of dollars.
Trolls. That's amazing.
Yeah.
You get a job just by putting somebody down, they'll give you $20. Like, that's amazing. Like, what the? And they're everywhere now. You can't say anything nice without somebody beating you down for being nice. But,
this happened to me on Thanksgiving, actually. I sent out a mass text. I meant to, like my old phone, I could click all the people and it would send the same text out to everybody. Well, it started a conversation and I didn't know. It's a new brand. I just got this new phone. And I don't, you know, and it wasn't like my old phone apparently. And it started this conversation. So when anybody replied, it replied to everybody. And so, but it was real quick. Happy Thanksgiving. A couple people said Happy Thanksgiving, and somebody didn't even say Happy Thanksgiving. The notifications are too loud. Will you please take me out? I just got, will you please remove me from your fucking group? And it made my heart drop.
Yeah, it's
like I just thought, fuck you. I'm being nice. You know, but it took me, that was the bringing of the stuff up. That's these energies. I had to face that. Why did I take it so personally? Mm-hmm. What was that bringing up in me? You know, so, yeah.
Everybody works there. You know, it's like a nonstop. I mean, it's all right, though. I mean, we'll get through it.
Yeah, we all will.
And we're frozen.
No, you're not frozen. Are you? No, we're frozen now.
Not yet. They're gargoyles
hold
again.
on. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I have to go into this page real quick.
Anyway.
Everybody was frozen for a minute. There's so many forces trying to stop this.
Exactly. I just want to talk. So, anyway.
We do have about like 10 more minutes.
Okay.
Our kids are very quiet. That's scary to us.
That's not a good sign.
Exactly. Like, I don't hear anything. So, but anyway.
Is there anything else you guys want to touch on?
Anything else? What else we were looking up?
I'm scanning.
Oh.
Do you guys know who Brad Johnson is?
I need everybody, real quick, I need everybody that's watching right now to go to iampevo.etsy.com and go purchase. I wear this thing every day, and it's the shit.
Yeah, we have some.
Yeah, any feedback?
Yeah, because we have some cool reviews on our thing that some people were spooked how well it was starting to work. So,
I gave the other two to two people, and they wear theirs every day too. They love them. So, and a little Lego man. Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate it. They're fun to make, except when your fingers stick together for an hour. You're like, all right, I'm gonna walk around like this all day. So.
The resin that you make it with. You guys
wear gloves, but
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And you guys are wearing respirators and stuff.
Yeah, we have the whole works. Yeah.
Good. So I just heard somebody stop making it because it's actually affecting his lungs and stuff. But he wasn't using the safety stuff.
Oh yeah.
So it definitely can if you don't use it.
Yeah.
Do you guys hear this? Do you guys hear what's going on? The work that they put in to make these? I need everybody. Iampevo.etsy. They're putting their lives on the line.
Well, not just that. Look at how wonderful they are. That's their energy and these charms, you know.
Exactly.
So you're carrying a little piece of them with you, and it's high vibe, definitely.
Seriously, when I put this on, I grow a full head of long Ivan hair. It's so luxurious, and I just wave it around. It is incredible.
Maybe that's what I need. I need to wear my necklace more often that I bought from you, so my hair will get thicker.
You'll get good hair. That's what it does.
Yeah.
It does. My drain hates it, but yes, it's very thick.
I wanted to ask you, so when I talked to you on Monday, I mentioned doing like a little medicine pouch or something with some orgone and maybe some crystals or something. So if I just send you a little bit of money, will you go ahead and throw something together for the girls? You know?
Yeah, we were talking about that. We have a few cool ideas we want to do. We also want to test out, since we didn't get to explain our coloring book. The reason why we made the coloring book was to explain to people who Peebo is and his journey from where we were of not having the knowledge of what a chakra is, what our energies, and throughout this coloring book, it will be his journey through the different chakra systems. What is energy? What is this? You know, and it will be a coloring. But it'll be for kids, because there's not a big market for kids as far as, hey, what is energy? If you talk to our kids, because we teach them that, but people who don't know, and if the kid's able to read, I mean, that's what we want to do. So I know your kids could read, so we wanted to put small, you know, just keep it simple, but it's a story. But it's a coloring book, but it talks about what organites are and everything. It's Margaret's idea, so, and I thought it was awesome, because it takes our little dude and it makes it personable, because in the beginning, we after we went through our attunements, we wanted to take care of kids, like, because another teacher we know, what she does is she goes to the hospitals and she goes to the cancer wards, and she would do sessions with the kids every day, and then as time goes on, Patty, what we wanted to do was make a little doll to give to the kid that had a pouch that had organite in it. So it could be a little dude for a kid, a heart for a girl, but so that the energy always stayed with them and it's something they could hold and have it with them. So that's where we wanted to do more for kids.
We have a lot of ideas.
Yes, it's on the works now that our business is now.
We are waiting for the mail to come back to be 100% legal and legit.
Business.
Ready to pay taxes to the government.
Yeah, so it's not just Etsy anymore. So now we've branched out so we could go everywhere. So we're very excited about that.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Excited to pay the man.
Yeah. I mean.
So we'll be able to go to like craft fairs and things like that. But yes, we can get you, we can go over all the details, but I did talk to him a little bit about it. A couple of crystals, some orgone, that.
Was that you?
Sorry, no, I don't know. There's a really weird tone.
It sounded like an owl. Like,
no, I don't know who that is.
Oh,
it's our kids.
They're returning their bag. The noise. All right. You tell them. Tell us. What happened to the babysitter? So anyway. But yes, we will take care of you. We've got lots of ideas because we want to bounce off some ideas, make this a learning experience also, because we want to get input from everybody on how things are, if they like them, how can we do better. It's just like, and then our kids want to say hi. Say hello to everybody. Say hello to Facebook.
Hi. Hello, Facebook.
Hi.
No.
Hello.
So this is Timmy. This is Ethan. So, anyway.
Can you guys hear Ella in the background having a meltdown for the last 45 minutes?
That's what that is.
That's what that is. Yeah.
Yes.
Kids.
Oh, yes. They're everywhere. The joys of my life. So, but anyway.
They're excited.
All right, guys. We're going to wrap it up.
Yep, we're almost done.
All right,
I'll be right back.
What? Well,
I'm so excited.
You're so excited for...
That's sarcasm.
Children.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Actually, Lauren, my 11-year-old, has already decided that she's not having children because of my other children.
Oh, okay.
My God, I have made my child sterile. She is abstaining because of her two little sisters. her two little sisters.
I don't want to have this experience.
Yeah, that's what she says. I know I'm good. I don't need that. I've already experienced it through you, and I'm okay. I don't need it.
Don't have kids.
Timmy didn't want to have kids either.
Yeah.
He told me, he's like, I'm not going to have kids. I was like, Oh.
I have a brother.
Okay.
That's all I need is a brother. I'm good.
Yeah.
How it is.
Yeah, they pull on her, they harass her, they're constant fighting, and yeah, my kids are real close together too, like yours, and it's been a journey that I have not experienced yet. This will be, I have all my kids are 7 years apart, so they were never into the same thing at the same time. So this is a whole new ball game, and
yes,
a ball game it is.
Right,
batter up.
Right.
It's fun. So, all right. So, is there anything else that we wanted to touch on real quick? So we got the Iampevo, and I think that's a great idea with the coloring book with the journey. It reminds me of Amaris has a book called Pete the Cat, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, and they actually sell the stuffed Pete the Cat, and he goes on all these different journeys, and there's a Christmas one where he delivers presents for Santa Claus.
Oh,
Even though I'm small, I can do it, and there's a song that goes with it, and I think that's a great idea for the Iampevo character.
Yeah.
I think that would take off. That's good stuff.
Well, thank you. And we're trying to make a comic with a graphic designer. Just got to find one. So, a good illustrator. But anyway.
Kevin might know some people, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Might have a chat later. You cup of tea and chat. But, no.
All right. Well, I really hope that if anybody needs any assistance through these energies, that we're all available. You guys at Iampevo, I'm at Will Transformation.
Hit us up. We like to help. We enjoy it. It's fun. It's a passion to help somebody else. So it's a service to others, just like what you're doing. Service to others. So throw it. Come our way. We'll help you.
We've talked about maybe doing this webinar once a week and maybe attacking one topic at a time. Starting with energy, maybe doing chakras. We can do frequency. We can do. I mean, gosh, there's so many. The list is, pretty darn long. Yeah. So
bust out a whiteboard, have it all written out.
Oh yeah,
that'll be cool.
Brad Johnson does the whiteboard. Have you guys seen any of his stuff?
No, we do Jordan Sather from Destroying Illusion, and he does a whiteboard too. So we like whiteboard. It's simple. You can write on it. Write on it again. So I mean, why not? It's there. So words could get lost sometimes, especially seeing all these people just talking.
Illustrations to make it easier.
Yes, it does. It grabs your brain, so you just stare at it. You're like, oh, okay, I get it now. All right.
Well, the truth is not all of us learn just by hearing. And so some of us are visual learners, auditory, hands-on. So I think with the whiteboard is kind of all three. You're seeing everything, and that helps.
It does. It does a lot.
All right, well, I guess we're going to wrap up. I would definitely have people watch the Alba Weinman videos, and you guys check out part 2. I posted it right on my page. It's like 2 or 3 posts in, and I think I even posted it on. No, maybe not. Check out Brad Johnson next month, January 3rd.
January 3rd, Brad Johnson joins us.
I'm going to be posting for the whole month of December. I'm going to post a video per week of something new that he has out to kind of get everybody ready for that, to ask questions or,
I'm going to put together a fire intro ad to get everybody ready for it. So
exactly. Hell yeah. It sounds like fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, and then something new that just popped up this week was Lisa Gawlis. I was talking to her, and we're going to do a Friday webinar. We talked about recording and editing and posting, but if we can do it, we might do live. I'm not sure yet. We still are going to iron out the details, but we're also going to do the same thing, like kind of everyday life, how to apply these things into everyday life, right? All these teachings. So that's going to be every other Friday, 2 Fridays a month.
There you go.
Lots of great things going on.
Yeah. Plus,
and not everybody has all the answers, so it's always good to get as many perspectives as possible, talk about stuff, pick each other's minds and philosophize, if I'm saying that word correctly.
Well, let's do it like this. We have source and we're all a piece.
Right.
Yeah.
We all have to take each piece to put it all together. We're all a piece of the puzzle.
Right.
We're all a different perspective of source.
Exactly.
So it's very important.
Well, thank you guys for having us on. I mean,
thank you.
We enjoy talking to you guys. It's fun.
We enjoy
about all the technical difficulties.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, remember to plug it in next time.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to end up here. Don't forget, everybody, go to Iampevo. Lots of specials for Christmas going on.
Thank you.
Follow their Facebook page.
Oh, what Facebook page?
Follow their Facebook page. You guys started a Facebook page, right?
Yes. Iampevo. Yep.
Okay. Yep. And then Iampevo at Etsy.com. So
yeah,
it stays the same, easy to find.
Yeah. If you guys want long hair, you gotta get one of these.
Exactly.
All right, and I'm at weboftransformation.com and then weboftransformation@gmail.com. And what are you laughing about?
My dad's watching this right now, and I was gonna make a joke to tell him to get this because he's receding. So.
Oh, he's bald. That's right.
I'll wake up in the morning.
Oh my God!
Fabio.
That'd be a whole new testament in the morning.
Right?
There we go. That's what you need, Mr. Marsh. All right, so yeah. Anyways, weboftransformation.com. I kind of help you do the deep dive. Right? The processing's all up to you. And
my dad's gonna kill me. My dad's gonna kill me.
My dad is. But I don't think he'd go for this kind of stuff.
We put it under his pillow. It's slowly working.
It's in his room, and he will sleep next to it, but he will not wear it.
So.
You know, I heard somebody the other day talking about that with our parents. You know, he would go, the one guy said he'd go in the medicine cabinet and take all the shaving and shampoo and fluoridated toothpaste and all the bad deodorant out and put all the good stuff in and not say anything. His parents would just use it, not ask any questions, not give him a hard time. But rather than saying, here, use this, because there's that cognitive dissonance, right? They will fight. But instead, just put it there and take the old stuff, and they'll just use it. And no questions asked. There's no conversation. There's no fight.
I feel like when it comes to complex ideas too, I feel like there is a formula to be able to do that somehow.
There is, right?
Yeah.
We'll think about it. We'll figure it out. We'll talk to you next week. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we'll wrap this up. Tevin, what's your contact information?
I'll just be on the block. You find me on the corner somewhere.
Tevin on the block?
Yeah, Tevin on the block. Ricky Martin on the block.
That's awesome.
All right, an East Coast mom, West Coast son. Tevin's talking about doing some gear. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, some merchandise. Cool. So that'd be fun. All right, well, I'm going to wrap it up. I'll see you guys later.
Have a good night, everybody.
All right, bye.
Bye.